everyone, this is Natasha. I've had by request to show you what I do with the dried beans. So I'm gonna put in these Great Northern beans, and I'm gonna make my own baked beans in a crock pot. So first I'm gonna open them up and put them on a quarter sheet pan tray to get any kind of yucky ones out. See that one? Or pebbles. I remember doing this with my grandmother, but with bulgur wheat, cracked bulgur wheat, picking out the pebbles. So I'm going to do that, and I'll show you what they look like. The content of a 2-pound bag of Great Northern beans, and these are the Dakota Pride brand. I think these are from Aldi's. So I'm going to pick out all the ones that are questionable, dehydrated completely. I am going to put them in some warm water to soak for a couple of hours. Kind of bloom them. See, I'm picking out the yucky ones. Just to make sure there aren't any rocks or stems. They're all pretty clean, and it's much easier to tell with these white beans, obviously. And since I have a ham bone, I thought it would be perfect timing to flavor that up. So that's what I'm going to add to them, along with brown sugar and spices and chicken stock, low sodium chicken stock, because it's going to be simmering, or slowly. See, I'm picking out these yucky ones right here. So I'm going to continue doing that, and then I'm going to pop them in a soak, and I'll show you. They'll be sitting in water for a little while. I'm going to use warm water. Hopefully it'll help them bloom. I have a bowl of warm tap water and beans picked. Not too bad for 2 pounds. $1.19 for the 2-pound bag. And I'm going to let them soak for I'll check them in about an hour. Probably put more, swap out the water. And what I'll do is dehydrated, see some skins are floating to the top. I'll pick those out as well. This one's a dud. And that's a dud. So pull that off. And I will, there's multiple things you could do with beans. It's a hearty source of protein. It's extremely inexpensive. $1.19 for 2 pounds. You can't get that kind already in a can. First of all, the stuff in cans, you don't really know what's in them unless you're getting the organic brands. And then that really costs you an arm and a leg. So I have onions ready. I'm going to use brown sugar, but initially I'm going to cook them with the ham bone and chicken stock, and then I'll start adding the flavorings along the way. You could do it in a slow cooker or a crock pot. You could do it in a pressure cooker if you don't have a lot of time, if you want it fast and infused. You could do it on the stovetop, or you could do it, bring it to a boil and then put it in the oven on low, essentially the same kind of slow cooking as in a crock pot. So I'm going to do these in a crock pot today, so I'll be back in a little bit, and we'll see how they look. See, they're kind of starting to talk. There's little bubbles coming up. How they look in about an hour rehydrated or rehydrating. You could certainly do this overnight, which is probably the optimum way, but I just thought of doing this, so I'm going to see how much I can get them to open up in the next hour. Okay, so they've been soaking for about an hour, and as you can see, they're starting to look like pruned, puckered skins. That's about what I want. I did drain off the cooled water, added more warm water, like hot tap water. I've taken some photographs from my blog, which there'll be a link in the description below. I've also included a little bit of this in my daily vlog. So I have my ham bone. I have 2 cans of chicken broth. I'm going to be using brown sugar, bay leaf, both mustard powder and mustard seeds, some onions, and if you want to have the beans do double duty, in other words, if you're cooking up 1 pound or 2 pounds in this particular instance of beans, I have a crock pot that has a divider. You can either split it up that way or cook everything just with the chicken stock, salt, black pepper, a couple of garlic cloves, which is another thing I'm going to add, and then pull out the beans that you want to use for tapenade or like a hummus, you know, where you add roasted vegetables, puree everything, use it for a spread and sandwiches. There's a lot of things you could do with beans. Beans can be incorporated in a lot of different ways. But for today's application, I'm going to do all of them as this ham flavored kind of slow baked beans. So I'm going to drain this off and I'm going to put the content of the beans into the crock pot with the 2 cans of low sodium chicken broth, some mustard, bay leaf, some salt and cracked black pepper. I'm going to add the brown sugar in about an hour. I don't want it to start to caramelize too soon, and I'm definitely going to add back the ham bones. That's going to add a lot of flavor. If you don't have a ham bone, you can put in some sauteed pieces of bacon. You could leave the meat out entirely and swap out the chicken broth for vegetable stock. That will make also very yummy beans. So I have my crock pot ready, so let me just show you. My crock pot ready, and at the bottom I have some of the pan drippings that I saved after the ham was baked, and I will add chopped pieces of ham in a couple of hours because it's already fully cooked and it's just going to be for flavor. So let me show you what that all looks like once it's in the pan. I'm going to drain off majority but not all of this liquid because I know I'll be needing to add more liquid because you want them covered with liquid when you put them in the crock pot. Sunday night supper, slow cooked ham. Just put the glaze on. It's going back in the oven with some baking potatoes. So I've put everything in the crock pot. I have it set to 4 hours. I'm going to check it again in probably in 2 hours to see how it's thickening up. 4 hours, which is the shortest on my particular machine. It is the highest heat. I have onions. I have bay leaf in there, some yellow mustard seed, some 2 teaspoons of yellow mustard, 1/4 cup of brown sugar, salt and black pepper, and that's it for now. We'll see what it looks like in a few hours. There they are. I think they're pretty much ready. I think I'm going to shut them off. The wonderful thing about cooking stuff in a crock pot, you don't have to babysit it. Check it occasionally. I went and had a nice silken tub. I did fish out the 2 bay leaves. I'm going to leave the ham bone because the marrow has melted into the sauce. And I think I'm going to taste it for seasoning, see if it needs any more. If they need any more black pepper. And tomorrow I might add a little bit of molasses to deepen the flavor. So other than that, there you go. $1.29, which made an enormous amount of meals. I might freeze some of them or investigate about putting them up, like canning them. So there you go. That's my beans in a crock pot. Easy peasy. Don't forget to thumbs up. It's free for you and it helps me out. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. And don't forget to check out my other food adventures. I'll include a playlist link below.